Patent number 6960975. A little bit about this patent number. There's so many patents in the United States trademark office.gov, official.gov, government website of free energy technologies, of curing all disease type technologies. But this one I picked specifically to start off these PowerPoints is the patent number 6960975. If you go to the United States trademark office.gov official government website, you can click on quick search, then click on patent number, type in this patent number at the official governmental seal website for the United States Trademark Office. You type in that number and you press enter, and it will pull up the invention patent for space vehicle propelled by the pressure of inflationary vacuum state. It's a space vehicle propelled by the pressure of inflationary vacuum state. I'm going to read it here. In the abstract it says, space vehicle propelled by the pressure of inflationary vacuum state is provided comprising a hollow superconductive shield, an inner shield, a power source, a support structure, upper and lower means for generating an electromagnetic field, and a flux modulation controller. A cooled, hollow, superconductive shield is energized by an electromagnetic field resulting in quantized vortices of lattice ions projecting a gravomagnetic field that forms a space-time curvature anomaly outside the space vehicle. The space-time curvature, being the same as gravity, provides for space vehicle propulsion and may move at a speed approaching the light speed characteristic for the modified locale. I don't know about you, but it sounds like a spaceship to me. Patented by the U.S. government. The patent year for this issuance is 2005. So it's been around for a little bit. The scientist, I'm sure, was bought out, and I'm sure was told if he opens his mouth about his invention, he'll probably be detained for treason. But this is the way our government works. I don't know if you know about patents, but one, you can't patent something natural. You have to be able to create it. Two, you cannot get a patent number unless it's an actual working invention. The government, and we know how critical the government is, won't issue a patent number if your invention does not work. This was done in 2005. It's 2012. Not too long ago, the United States government issued a patent number for a space vehicle. So we're talking about futuristic advanced technologies here. We're talking about Star Wars. We're talking about futuristic cities with cars floating around in the air. We're talking about totally different modes of transportation. We're talking about breakthroughs in mathematics, shattering the paradigms of Big Bang theories and Einsteinian can't break the speed light barriers. We're talking about futuristic mathematical equations that would create technology that would change our world on many, many different ways. So it seems that the government that hides these advanced technologies, it makes it apparent that they use them for their own privileged peoples. it's apparent that they use these technologies to make it seem like you're on the inside. Unfortunately, if you support this type of secretive construct, if you support the dark military-industrial complex for suppressing such an invention, then you prop up the illusion of the old, because as this revolution, as this revolt grows with momentum, it is what you think is invincible power structure of the old government that you exist in, that illusion that you believe to be true. You will be dwarfed by the momentum of the coming revolution. And these technologies are at the forefront of our demands. We want the mathematical calculations for this invention. We would like to know the history. We would like to honor the scientists who created such a device. We would like to see the landscape of space exploration changed, where we make a gigantic leap into thought, futuristic space exploration, all that imagination you used to use when you were a child for space exploration and dreaming of being in space, and what that could entail, what that could mean for government, what that could mean for our consciousness and our understanding as a human civilization. These are the reasons why suppressing such technology is a crime. It's a criminal act. And in your old government, the way you've manipulated paper laws and paper politics, you've made it to where it's a commodity. You've turned it into an asset, top secret, governmental, secret society property that is used as leverage in the world, and used as leverage against your psyche, when these kind of technologies are for the planet. These kind of technologies are for everybody. Energy that propels this device, I'm sure, is in relation to free energy technologies. We're talking about creating a gravitational field that result in quantized vortices of lattice ions projecting a gravomagnetic field that forms a space-time curvature. Now, this is so futuristic. This is groundbreaking. And for those who haven't studied science, or the mass of students who follow blindly the old rhetoric of the Big Bang Theory and all these other theories, and they just take and follow what's being presented in front of them. Something like this shatters all those paradigms. Something of this magnitude, just the equations alone are thought-provoking. Or how such a thing could exist. But that would change the dynamics. It would change the landscape of science, physics, mathematics. But the secret government don't release this information for a reason. They release it. They keep it for themselves to keep you in a world of that they create, basically. It's a world that is theirs for the making. But every one of us has this right to create our own world. So we need to band together And this technology needs to be brought to the forefront because this could change our modes of transportation, our modes of getting energy, our understandings of the universe and how the universe functions in real time with real flows of energy. It gives me a slight mistrust for the sciences that exist now. I don't know, who to believe or why I've been following these specific scientists or, when there's an invention like this. You got colleges telling you that, breaking the speed of light or space travel and all this is not possible. And they preach that on mainstream news and TV shows, and that these kind of devices aren't possible. So such a simple campaign, a propaganda campaign to say that something isn't possible when you live in an infinite universe of all possibilities. If we're living in an infinite universe, that means there's infinite possibilities. That means all possibilities exist. So to say it's impossible is an error. It's an error of thought. To have energies, the vortex field that creates a gravomagnetic shield, sparks in your mind how energy flows in and around itself, forming a protective shield, a calculable energy, an understanding of gravity, equilibriums of the universe, ultimately consciousness. For if we were to fly in one of these spaceships, then now we're thinking futuristic. Now we're thinking advanced civilizations. Now we're thinking ETs and extraterrestrial alien civilizations. Now we're thinking of advanced technologies, space exploration. We're talking about creating fleets. And of course, with every responsibility, there's good and bad intentions. You can use this technology for bad intentions, and if it was kept secret, I'm sure the intentions weren't good. I'm sure the industrial military complex people and whoever signed on to this secret faction thought they were cool. Unfortunately, they're not too cool, because that's why the people are revolting. Because you're only cool to an inside group, and even that inside group knows you're full of crap now. And some of them still hold on to your old paradigm that's crumbling. Some people still hold on to that old world that's crumbling right before your eyes. You hear people like me stand up against you. You see the revolts in the streets, Occupy protesting movements, and just the average citizen who knows something's wrong, knows something's off. It's these people we need to reach and let them know that this kind of technology would change our world forever. It would change the way you perceive the future. It would change the way you perceive right now. It would change our sciences, our mathematics. It would create a bloom of understanding about universal energies, how universal energies interact not only within itself. And you have to imagine that there has to be a being inside that spacecraft, operating that spacecraft, and that you are part of this curvature space-time anomaly. So these energies upon energies upon energies that balance themselves within these energies within an infinite universe that depict a flow, that show a flow, using the vortex, centralizing together as a magnetic field, creating its own equilibrium within space and time, and that the human condition is not connected to this experience, that the human body, soul, and mind is not connected to such an expression of thought. that our emotions and energies and consciousness aren't affected by these type of sciences? That it shows a reflection of ourselves and may show a greater understanding into understanding how we function as human beings, solve some of those questions for the meaning of existence, solve some of those questions for why am I here. And when you release information like this and people begin to understand that the universe and the human creature are intimately, divinely connected to work as one with its own self, so that we can become a reflection of what the self really means, if things can work in such a balance, if energies can work in such a way to where we can traverse space. And that doesn't mean that responsibility gets easier, because, as you can see, with the suppression of these kind of technologies, that was a negative intention. So once again, as a human civilization, we stand at the forefront as we look out into space, thinking that all we have is a combustible rocket called the space shuttle that looks like a bottle rocket going up into the sky, when we have devices that create gravomagnetic force fields and space-time curvatures reaching the speed of light modified locale, whatever it says. When we have technologies like this, you can see the illusion all around you. And so you begin to wake up more. And then you start to wanting to demand for these technologies. And you see that many things become illusions, like how there's no jobs, how the economy is in trouble. All these are fabricated. If you can create a device like this, then everything else becomes a fabrication. It becomes more of an illusion, because you start to wake up that we have more power than you could possibly imagine. Not only can we traverse space, reasonable distances to maybe find other life, just to research other planets. This won't provide passions and desires or jobs for the human citizen. That we're supposed to toil away like it's the 1900s in factories, getting dirty arms with oil all over our face, wearing bandanas and blue-collared one-suiters. That's our destiny, to live in smoke-filled, smog-filled, nuclear power plants billowing smoke out of cooling towers. That's our world. Little putt-putt engines that have little exhaust fumes coming out the back as we putt-putt along on rubber rolling tires. And we're supposed to accept this. We're supposed to accept that the economic growth is only 1% and jobs are at the lowest ever. All this is illusionary. Just this one invention shows that all of this is an illusion. We need these technologies. We need to release these technologies, Illuminati, whoever you think you are, whatever you think you are. Because the revolution's coming. And the light's going to shine into your darkness. And you will be exposed as you expose many others. So your karma's coming. The bowls of wrath will be poured full for you. Do something good for yourselves and do something good for humanity for once. Quit being lying, deceiving, dark little snakes. Give us these technologies. Change this world. Make it the world that we're destined to become anyways. Show us the light on how we're supposed to rise out of this fabrication of illusion. Sick of it. Sick of it. When you have inventions like this, I should be on a spacecraft right now studying Jupiter, or terraforming Mars and making another planet. And all these other fabrications of overpopulation. I mean, just one fabrication after another, when all of them could be solved. But you so cleverly, with all your money from monopolizing over the years, have learned how to distort, hide, suppress, buy out, murder, kill those who oppose you, those who create inventions, those who shine light for others to make life easier, to make life a contribution. And I'm surprised no one has ever wondered why all the inventions stopped after the 1900s at some point. No big, great inventions were happening. Well, let me tell you something. They did happen, but you just never heard about them. Patent number 6960975. For those who need facts, for those who are hardcore skeptics, this is your fact. And that's if you don't believe that the governmental website is a true representation of the government, then we might have a problem. Otherwise, you're staring at a fact created by the government, issuing a patent number for an invention of a space vehicle propelled by the pressure of an inflationary vacuum state by the U.S. government. I don't know how much more of a fact you need of corruption. I don't know how much more of a fact that you can research to see on your own that this is true. Can I say I invented a time machine and get a patent for it? No, I can't. It has to be patented. It has to be proven that it works. And I'm sure if I did create something like that, I would be bought up and sold on the black market with all the other elite families around the world. Sick of these dynasty, self-imposed, self-entitled, hand-me-down crowns, fake, whatever they think they are, Illuminati bastards. Stand up. Average citizens, stand up. Scientists, students, people, humanity, stand up. You're living in an illusion. You're living in shadows. Pull the curtains and look at the Wizard of Oz pulling the little levers behind the scenes. It's all around you. Wake up. Start creating your own reality. Start demanding what's rightfully yours. Bring this earth out of its darkness. Only you can make it happen. They're not going to tell you to do it. The Illuminati is not going to tell you to stand up. The Illuminati is not going to tell you to revolt. You know why? Because you prop up their illusions. You get into your car and you drive and you go work your butt off and you go pay your bills, trying to put food on the table to feed your families. Buying into the red and blue paradigm of politics, buying into Obama and all of his yuppie friends. You're buying into the illusion that they're selling you. Get it right in your head. There is a vacuum state of power right now. Whenever leaders don't do their jobs, they create a vacuum state. You want to talk about vacuum states? Let's talk about the vacuum state of real leadership in Washington, real leadership in humanity, real leadership in politics, because it doesn't exist. Real leadership in educational reform and financial reform, that doesn't exist, so that means it creates a vacuum state. Who's going to stand up and do it? You are. You got to change it in your heart, you got to change it in your mind, you got to stand up and do it. Yeah, we still have to live in their illusion, we still have to live in their house of cards, but it's crumbling. Each person that wakes up starts to crumble it. There's a crack in the wall, and at some point it crumbles down. It doesn't have to be in violence. It doesn't have to be in war. We already know they have all the power. We already know they have all the tanks and the guns and the this, but guess who operates those machines? We do. It's time to stand up. It's time to wake up.